Wanted to welcome everyone to our Tuesday morning gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. Those of you that have joined us before, you know that this is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino. Absolutely delighted to be here with Jackie Johnson, mindfulness instructor with Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, Suzanne and everyone. It's great to be with you on this election day.
Yes, it's great to be with you. And, if some folks aren't here this morning, we are okay with the fact that they may be at the polls. So that's always a good thing. But either way, we're so happy to have you here to start off your day with us. So for those of you that haven't joined before, excuse me, we typically start off with a question for the group. So Jackie will share a question, and then we'll have some time for a little chat and answering the question and processing the question. And then after that, she'll take us right into a guided practice, about 12 minutes. Which is the sweet spot that Dr. Amishi Jha has mentioned in some of her research. So with that, go to the bottom of your screen and open up the chat. And once you open up the chat, you'll see a blue, at the very bottom, a blue drop-down menu that says to hosts and panelists. Click on everyone, and that will allow everyone to see what you type in as far as the answer to the question. So, Jackie, what is your question?
Well, I guess I'd like to sort of kick it off first with the reminder that if you haven't already voted, please make a plan and be sure to do that today. And, you know, Suzanne, I think I mentioned to you that I had an entirely different question and topic for today. And it's just occurred to me in the last few days that it just feels like there's such intensity right now around this election that I sort of realized that I needed for myself to talk about and to maybe practice in a particular way today, just thinking that elections used to come and have a conclusion of sorts, and then there'd be a pause and a transition, and we'd all get to reset. And it just feels like now there's just been this amping up. And regardless of what your feelings are about outcome, and some of us have been active and involved, that there's just going to be unsettledness. There'll be emotion and perhaps disruptions and then ramping up for the next one. And there's already talk about that. So I guess my question comes of having been sort of sitting with all of that in the last few days. Mm-hmm. So my question for the group today is, what helps you to heal your heart in difficult and chaotic times?
Yeah, it's a great question. I just shared this in the chat. And it may take a good 30 seconds for you to take the question in and let that percolate. Because, I think initially we all might say meditation, those of us that practice regularly, absolutely. It's a gift to us during any unsettled time. And the other thing is spending time with family. Yeah, and I don't get to do that. I have, some of my family in the house, but not my kids. So that I'm going to be able to see them this weekend. So that'll be really nourishing. What about you, Jackie?
Yeah, like other people that I see posting time in nature as you said, Suzanne, being with people I love and meeting new people too, just sort of connecting in general. I've also been noticing that taking action. So voting is a way, and reminding other people to vote, doing what we can do for things that we care about. Wow, I see such great stuff coming up here.
Yeah. Yeah. In
Music.
silence and just listening to nature. I think that is very helpful.
Yeah.
Life, family, pets. Yeah. And many times it's just, I have a dog, and, he is oblivious to all this stuff going on. Well, I mean, he might be not oblivious to the energy that
Mm.
he's feeling in my life. But it's just nice that he's just kind of like, I'll go to the park. I'm ready. So
I see somebody asking, what is the question? So the question is, what helps you to heal your heart in difficult, chaotic times? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, to what you just said, Suzanne, I remember in the worst of COVID, noticing the birds, the squirrels, animals outside, just, it's not necessarily oblivious, but doing what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is such a great subject, Jackie, for all of us, because, you mentioned about the election and that, the unsettledness, but it's also the uncertainty. We might come to a point where we don't know the outcome because of, different types of systems that ballots need to be counted. Maybe something will be closed. So it's, knowing that. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, I
sometimes when
love
it's,
what I see here, Suzanne.
yeah,
Such a range of responses. It's like, wow, we can all have a menu of choices simply by capturing some of this, I think.
yeah. Um, the most mundane task, sweeping the floor. It's interesting. I have allergies and I haven't been able to rake the leaves. So my husband's
Mm.
been raking leaves, and I miss it because I find it to be very zen. Like, it's just like there's something about just collecting and putting things in piles, and yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah, if we had time, there's a question I'd add on to that maybe I'll sort of drop in as we shift into the practice. You know, Sometimes we can think about practice, think about some of the things we do to take care of ourselves, to heal our hearts as selfish acts. And I've been thinking a lot about how does healing our hearts help to heal the world?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have a few minutes to talk about that after the practice.
Yeah. What you've mentioned is very similar to what Jennifer said here. When I have big emotions that hurt and I don't know where to put them, I tune inward and try to gather my energy and send it back out into the world as love.
Hmm. That's
I
beautiful.
mean, it is beautiful.
And I think we can all probably call to mind situations where we handled tough things skillfully or less skillfully because of our own inner states, right?
Yeah. Juan has mentioned I live near the Arnold Arboretum. I head over there and sit in my favorite, under my favorite, very tall pine tree. Juan, I could just picture it and makes me want to just get in my car and drive over there.
Mm, sounds great on this sunny morning.
Yeah, and Grant is not sure. So hopefully, this is a time of unsettledness. Sometimes we don't know what to do. So, that let's process it a little bit more, like Jackie said, after the practice.
Great. So as we make the shift, start off by checking in with yourself. See if there's anything your body needs in this moment. If you want to stand up and stretch, find the right position to settle into that really has a sense of of comfort and relaxation that will allow your body to soften for the practice. And so I want to invite you to just settle in. If it feels right to gently close the eyes, please do so. And otherwise, my suggestion is that you cast the gaze downward, away from the screen, just to support taking this time as really time to go inward, and inviting in a couple of long, slow breaths, really feeling the earth supporting you, feeling the weight of the body in your seat if you're seated, or standing is fine too, if that's best for you right now. And beginning at the top of the head, just taking some time to sort of sweep through the body and notice some softening around the forehead, the temples, through the face, the cheeks, the jaw, down through the neck and the shoulder region, sweeping down and allowing the belly to soften. Feeling the hands resting, whether it's on the thighs or on a surface. Feeling the feet in contact with the floor. And just feeling into the natural rising and falling of breath, or whatever sensation of the body best supports you and allows for a sense of collectedness. And I really want to invite you this morning to attend to whatever would be most healing for you in this practice. If you're feeling agitated, seeing if you can meet that with kindness and to make space and care for that in whatever way is helpful. And I'll continue to give a bit of guidance, and there'll be some periods of silence. And if it's best for you, feel free to let my voice drop into the background at any point. And I'd like to take us into a kind of a loving kindness practice. And some of you may be familiar with loving kindness as a practice that incorporates phrases. And this version, I'm not going to be offering up phrases, but if that's what you're familiar with and it feels right to you, feel free to do that on your own. So I want to invite you to call to mind a being for whom it's easy to feel a sense of warmth, love, kindness, care. And this may be a person alive or dead, could be an adult, could be a child. It also could be a beloved pet. And with your mind's eye, receive the gaze of that being. Really take that in with any tenderness, kindness, care that that being may be offering. And as you take in that gaze, really allowing yourself to feel the accompanying sensations. You may notice warmth, tingling, softening of the heart. You might even notice the sense of there being a flame that ignites in the heart. And calling the gaze to mind at any point where the sensation subsides or you become distracted, bringing the image of this being back to mind. And perhaps at some point, someone else comes to mind, another person, another being for whom it's easy to feel warmth. Feel free to invite them in as well. And in your own time, inviting others in, anyone that you'd like, for whom it's easy to feel warmth, care, kindness. Loving circle. Knowing you can keep recalling the faces. And if it's helpful at any point, feel free to put your hand on your heart or on your cheek. And you may notice that as this circle grows, it's easy to radiate these feelings outward as well. And so again, in your own time and starting close, perhaps with those in the circle, and beginning to add from there, widening and radiating these feelings of warmth and kindness and care outward. And if it feels right, widening the circle to perhaps those who are experiencing particular difficulty in the world. And if it feels right, continuing to widen that circle and to radiate this kindness, perhaps to all beings. The 13th century Persian poet Rumi wrote, "Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd." And we can do that just through this kind of caring presence. So really taking in the sensations of the body right now. Taking in the good enables us to recall sensations throughout our day. So as we bring the practice to a close, appreciating that as we heal our hearts, we take an important step toward broader healing. So as you're ready, just bringing some movement back to the body and taking your time and slowly allowing the eyes to open and bringing the attention back from this inward attention to the world around you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I think that's it's such a unique meta practice in the fact that it was just so perfect for this time. I feel like sometimes folks have a hard time giving the loving kindness to themselves. So just using that positive energy from this loved, this loved one, and radiating it out is just what we need. I think this is what the world needs right now. There's life, many things going on outside the United States today, and
Yeah,
it's a wonderful practice. So thank you so much.
my pleasure. And I want to acknowledge that there are times that a loving kindness practice doesn't really resonate, and it can feel sort of mechanical. It can feel at times like going through the motions. And that's okay too. You know, if we are feeling particularly agitated, sometimes there's value, even if it doesn't really resonate. Sometimes there is some shift, but I think it's also important when we're feeling particularly agitated to play with and find the right practices. Sometimes a walking meditation practice is what really fits.
Mm. Yeah, that walking practice in nature. I mean, it sounds like, so maybe after we all go to the polls, or whoever needs to still go to the polls, can you slide in a little bit of a moment at a tree or something like that? You know, sometimes our schedules are so busy.
Yeah, I see Alicia's question about the poem. So it's be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. There's one other thing that particularly moved me in the last few days that I just want to kind of throw into the mix as we get ready to sign off. I was listening to the 10% Happier podcast a couple of days ago, and many of you may be familiar with that. It was October 24th. The founders of the Holistic Life Center were on with Dan Harris, and I won't take time to go into it, but these are 3 young men of color who work with inner city Baltimore youth, teaching them yoga and mindfulness, and really, really moving podcast. But one of them at one point talked about the word respect and the root of the word respect, or the roots. And spect, the root of spect is to see or to look at. And the root of re is again. So respect meaning to look at again. And I think that this practice really helps us to build the muscle that enables us to look at things again with curiosity and with openness.
Yeah. And even looking at the result, if one particular result wasn't what you were anticipating or hoping for, could we look at that as an opportunity for us to get involved in that particular state or something, you know, if we were looking for the results to be different. You know, trying to reframe things. So I really like the way you've shared that, Jackie.
Thank you, Suzanne. And so many rich ideas here, ways to nurture and to heal our hearts. So I wish that for all of you today and always.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And really timely discussion and practice. So it's nice to have this community to be here to support one another. So we're so happy you were here, and Jackie, and we're always happy to have you on, and happy to have the community here as well. So wishing you all well, and I will be here tomorrow morning with our Zoom meeting format. We're going to talk about slowing down, just the feeling of slowing down in general. So anyway, just a little teaser.
Great.
All right. Nice to see everyone this morning, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Jackie.
Great to be with you all. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thanks. Bye, everyone.